Okay, hi guys, welcome back to Alphabet Club. I'm your host, Shannon Beveridge, and Pride Month is over. Did you survive? I survived. A lot happened. A lot happens every month for gay people, but Pride Month, we really test the limits and we push ourselves to the limits. There were so many events that I had that were like late one night and then early the next morning, but I made it through. I'm feeling good. I spent a lot of Pride Month with my family, which is so nice. The people who make me most proud in the world. And I also spent a lot of Pride Month in New York. I think like almost all of it, which I love. I've been having the best time being here. Just feels better here. I'm like loving the vibe of the people I'm hanging out with and the friends that I have here, the family that I have here. It's just been so nice, so much better for me personally to be here. I also went to a WNBA game. It's not my first WNBA game. I think it's like my third, but I had such a good time. Obviously, so lucky. If you saw on Instagram or TikTok, I got to sit courtside, which I don't think I'll ever get to do again. So I cherish it. Thank you so much to Coach, and thank you so much to the WNBA, and thank you so much to the Dallas Wings, who, of course, how cool to go to a WNBA game from my hometown. So cool. And then to sit courtside like that was so cool. And it was Paige Beckers playing Caitlin, although Caitlin was out, which whatever. I just was excited in general to be there. Like, what a cool game. But I think that's my third game. I want to try to go more regularly to games. I think if you have not gone to a WNBA game, the energy is so good. And I think the thing that I like the most about it is seeing all the little kids there, and there's so many little girls, which is amazing. Love to see it. But there's also so many little boys there, and I just can't even imagine what it must do for a kid's brain to see like what they could be, and also to like look up to women that way and look up to people that way. Like, it's just badass. And also it does feel incredibly queer if you're a queer woman, which if you're following me, you might be. But obviously it's open to all people, but it really feels so, I don't know. If you want to stay around queer women, even after Pride Month, go to a WNBA game because the energy is good. It's feeling very queer and very inclusive and very cool. I just think it's like such a cool experience. If you haven't gone, you should definitely check it out and try to go to a game near you. And there's so many new teams coming, so if you haven't seen, there's 3 new teams coming in the next few seasons. So that's also so exciting. I don't know, something new to get excited over and be a part of. And now I've been getting so many like TikToks fed to me about the WNBA and about different players, and that's been really nice. And speaking of, just to plug one last queer voice for the end of Pride Month, although it's kind of over. But if you don't follow Coach Jackie on TikTok, you really, really should. She like covers all female sports, from like literally very niche sports to the WNBA to solo sports to team sports. Like, she's covering so much stuff that if you're interested in sports and women's sports, she does such a good job. So if you don't know about her, you should check her out. I'll put her links to her TikTok below. And yeah, I think that's all I have for you today. Thank you for being here. I love you all so much. If you haven't seen, over my Patreon, I'm posting tour vlog this week, and also a reaction to the tour vlog, because Vanessa put her blood, sweat, and tears into the tour vlog. So if you didn't get to go to the tour and you want to see what some of the behind the scenes of that was, it will be up, and then my reaction later this week to it. Enjoy this episode. Oh, and Cameron Esposito, what a gem. If you want, you should also check out their stand-up. So good. So good. More of an art show. We get into it in the episode, so keep watching. But it literally was like, it's just very good, very cool. They're very cool, and I had the best time hanging out with them. So check it out. Love you. Goodbye. This episode is sponsored by Tomboy X, which y'all know I love Tomboy X. They were the very first sponsor ever of my podcast, and I loved their underwear even before they were a sponsor. So thank you, Tomboy X. Y'all also know I love their boy shorts the most, but if you haven't looked at their website in a while, they just launched their 2025 swim collection. So if you're looking for your beach outfit, just so you know, board shorts are back in style, and Tomboy X has some, so you should check them out. They provide all-day comfort in sizes from extra small to 6X. And you can use code Shannon for 20% off your very first purchase only at tomboyx.com. This episode is sponsored by Calm. Calm is the #1 app for sleep and meditation, giving you the power to calm your mind and change your life. Personally, I cannot sleep in the quiet. I need some kind of noise to fall asleep, and Calm takes away the stress of searching all over the internet for the perfect thing to listen to. They have sleep stories, sleep meditations, and calming music to help you drift off to a restful sleep quickly and naturally. I've literally been using Calm since 2020. Long before my podcast. I started doing it during the pandemic, and I have not stopped. If you feel like your brain is running in a dozen directions at once, I highly recommend checking out Calm. Calm has an exclusive offer just for listeners of my show. Get 40% off a Calm premium subscription at calm.com/Shannon. This is an amazing value. So go to calm.com/Shannon for 40% off unlimited access to Calm's entire library. calm.com/Shannon and tell Calm you heard about them from me. This episode is sponsored by Shopify. Owning your own business can be intimidating and lonely with all the moving parts you have to figure out. When I started my podcast, I know that there was a lot of things that I had to figure out, a lot more than I initially realized. But working for yourself and starting your own business is also so rewarding. If you've been sitting on an idea for a while, I highly recommend you use Shopify to run your business, because finding the right tool that not only helps you out, but simplifies everything is the biggest game changer. And for millions of businesses, that tool is Shopify. Shopify is the commerce platform behind businesses around the world and 10% of all the e-commerce in the US, from household names like Mattel and Gymshark to brands that are just getting started, and my own brand. I've used Shopify since the very beginning. Turn your big business idea into with Shopify on your side. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period and start selling today at shopify.com/alphabet. Go to shopify.com/alphabet. And one more time, that's shopify.com/alphabet. Okay, hi guys, my name is Shannon Beveridge. Welcome back to Alphabet Club, a club where everyone is included. And today I'm so excited for my guest, Cameron Esposito, actor, comedian, icon. Queer,
oh my God, icon?
Icon, queer legend.
Oh yeah, I'll take it.
You literally have been in the game for like so long and out for so long in a way that is so, thank you.
Oh my God, I could burst into tears. Yeah, I have been in the game for a long time. Actually, 20 years.
No way.
Yeah, I know.
How does that feel?
Still such a young man. It feels... So here's what I'll say. My wife and I have, like, one of our young friends is living with us right now.
Oh, no way.
And they're 27.
Okay.
And we're obsessed with them. And also, it's like a short-term thing that's been really cool. Mm-hmm. And, you know, when I started doing stand-up, and also just like being a person, this is gonna blow your fucking mind, but I graduated from college the same week that marriage equality came to Massachusetts, came to Boston.
Oh my God, no way.
And so, like, I know that might feel like a million years ago, but that is like from my generation.
Yeah.
You know? And when I graduated was like the first moment that I could have been a person who like had that as a goal. And not that marriage is the goal, but just like as a context for like what it was like, you know, when I was in college versus like right after.
Right after, yeah.
You know, and then in comedy, there had been some people, you know, there are like, there's been trailblazers the whole time, but we were really relegated to like fringe, outside edge.
Yeah.
Like you could be like on a cruise ship. That has changed so much. So like I mentioned my 27-year-old buddy because it's just like, you know, we're the same in a lot of ways. You know, I was like kind of a like queer punk rock, you know, outsider when I was their age, and like they are too. And I like love looking at their social life and stuff because it's giving me so much context for like who I've been. And then just to look at, you know, I think of queerness in like microgenerations because
it changes so
like,
fast.
Yes. Yeah. And like exactly the year you were born matters. Like if I was 1 year older or 1 year younger, that fact about marriage equality would be different, right? Yeah. And so then to spend time with somebody who's like that much younger and we have so much in common and we have so much overlap and like, you know, similar like style or, oh my God, I had to get my outfit approved.
No. No, for today.
Yeah. I had to get my outfit approved. But also like, and
you're like, it's ironic because it's like you would think you're the mentor in that scenario, but now you're like mentoring both ways.
Well, this is kind of what I'm saying. Like, I do think like, it's not confusing to me that I like knocked down doors because people have told me. You know, like if I was just by myself in a room, I don't know if I would know that or not, but because I, you know, have had like success places like YouTube or mainstream television or whatever, but then I'm also touring stand-up, so the whole time people have told me, and at the same time, like there is so much to learn from a younger generation. I'm like obsessed with being on TikTok. I don't even like post on TikTok, but I just like watch. I'm like, what's Bella Ramsey up to? You know what I mean? And like so watching them do interviews and just be like, okay, wow. So like, this is how we're like holding our heads now, you know? But it's cool, you know? It's cool.
The queer community, in a way, there is like a bit of like the blind leading the blind. Like, since everything is new, like everything for everyone always is new.
Yeah.
Should we just jump into it? Oh, also Vanessa's here. Say hi, Vanessa.
Hi, Vanessa.
Hey, what's up?
You're supposed to say
I'm already loving this. I'm into it.
Yeah.
And also great outfit. So whoever worked with you did a great job.
Oh my God. What's up? Shout out Naomi.
Approved by us as well.
Coolest cat on the planet.
This is the first time I've worn my hair down on the podcast since when was the last time you even wore your hair down? A long time.
How do you feel?
As soon as I picked up the call, I was like, oh my gosh, beautiful hair.
I picked up the phone and she goes, oh, pretty girl. I'm like, okay. I feel fine. I really want to cut my hair.
Okay.
So I'm like trying to embrace the length that I have for a second before I go short again. I've been shorter before, but never like anything crazy.
Well, what are your goals right now?
My hair inspo is, oh my gosh, the person from the Dragon Show. What the hell is their name?
Oh no, this is embarrassing. Emma Darcy.
Good job. Yeah.
Did I make that up or is that the real name?
No, that's right.
Hell yeah.
That's right. That's my hair inspo. I have like a Pinterest board.
Well, what an attractive person.
I know. I think I could do it. Look, she's looking at it.
I do it every time.
She doesn't know.
Oh, very, very attractive person.
Vanessa doesn't know anyone's name.
Do you know
I'm
what's
just
funny?
bad with names.
Oh, do you know what's funny about this is like, so again, because like we weren't really visible anywhere.
Yeah.
I have had an experience of being like, specifically having like a haircut.
A journey.
Thing.
Yeah.
Not just a journey, but like a thing where people will have brought in photos. And I only know this again because they've told me.
Mm-hmm. Of your haircut.
Yeah. Oh, and like my haircuts have been kind of wild throughout time. Like
asymmetric.
Okay, Tegan and Sarah existed, and we love them. Shout out to my friends.
We love them too.
Like they existed, and then also like when I was in my 20s is sort of when we were like experimenting with, like you said, asymmetrical haircut.
Yeah.
And I had like a full shave, and this was very long. And I mean, try to walk into like a bar where people are doing stand up and it's a bunch of dudes being like, you know how you're like sucking my dick? And then you're just like, I have hair on one side of my head. Like we're a little bit different and we're a little bit the same, you know?
These things are not too different. I'm dead.
And then when I like cut my side mullet, I kept it in a little golden envelope. I think I've lost that now. But it was like people wrote about that. Like think about where we are actually
literally
in the world and like how much exposure we have now and how many options. And that's why it matters so much to me to like look at what people are doing.
Yeah.
Because I was like,
keep up.
I was just like out on the road just being like, what do I do? You know, and like that hair happened. Then I had like hair that was so sticking straight up in the air. And it was white for a while, which is also, you remember this era, Megan Rapinoe was like playing soccer,
of course.
You know, and Donald Trump hated her. And then
can't forget that part.
And then I got cast in a TV show that was on network television. It was on ABC, and when I first, huge love to the like hair and makeup and wardrobe team because they let me have input, which not everybody does, and also the producers. But like when I showed up with my haircut, everybody on set when I walked on the first day was like, wow, like this is such a choice. Like I can't believe they did this. And I was just like, this is my real hair. You know what I mean? Like it was so
like they
and then over like episodes in a season, in like 2 seasons, my hair kept getting like shorter. I think I was like more comfortable being on television in that way, and I didn't need like this wild armor. But even like watching it, it's very funny. I like show up, and it's I truly have like my hair's like 5 feet tall, and I'm just like, hey, nice to meet you. I'm a tattoo artist.
Very visibly queer.
So gay, the gayest hair. And people that watched ABC were confused. I'll mention that. They didn't even know why. They're like, I don't know, something's weird about this person. So I'm just really gay.
There's something
That's
so
what
different.
it is.
Okay, I'll just show you. These are, I think, what I'm going to do.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that's just incredible. And that person's style is so out of this world.
But
So
we'll see what happens.
You can do it.
We'll see what happens when it actually happens. But, okay, let's jump in because I know I'm going to keep saying things I want to talk to you about.
Okay.
So our first segment that we do is called Q&ABC. So I'm going to ask you a question for every letter of the alphabet.
Oh my God.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G. 26 questions from A to Z.
For A, it's age. How does it feel seeing people coming out at a younger and younger age?
Feels awesome. For my generation, actually pretty early. Like
you
I was
came out young.
I was like 19 when I first started dating a woman, and I was like never in the closet as I started my career, and that was unusual.
Very unusual.
And also, when I was dating a woman, I couldn't be out. I could have been kicked out of college.
Because you went to a Catholic school?
I did, yeah. And so I think one of the differences that like blows my mind is like the idea, and this is not true for everybody, but like that your environment could absorb that as if you potentially were not like going straight to hell. And again, this is not for everybody, but just that option exists. That wasn't really, I think, available in my generation.
It is crazy now seeing kids come out. Like, I don't know how you feel, but when I see kids going to prom together.
I was just going to say prom.
It makes me so.
I was just going to say prom. That's kind of what I mean.
Yeah.
It's like, sure, I guess you could be like secretly gay.
Yeah.
But that's very different than going to prom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I look at my prom pictures and it's like me, my date, the girl I secretly kissed all the time, and her date. And I'm like, it's so sad. And then at prom, we danced like face to face, grinding on the boys we went to prom with. Yeah, what do you think
I
about
can
that?
relate more. I had a very serious boyfriend.
Yeah,
We went to prom together. I wore elbow-length gloves, obviously.
of course.
And I was in love with my best friend. And like, this was not, again, it was a different era. That was all very like hush hush, and we were not making out, but there was a moment where I asked her to dance to like our song, which was Shania Twain's "You're Still the One," which is a little bit over the top when you're like, you know how you're friends with your friend,
Yeah.
and they're
That's
the one.
more than a best friend. You're the one. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Is that person queer now?
No.
No, mine neither.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, hey, man. Look,
Hey,
why
teach
would
their
we?
own.
Yeah.
Teach their own.
Yeah. Why would we
We all go down different paths.
go for any sort of realistic reward?
Yeah.
You know?
Okay, B is a crazy one to just jump right in, but B is bipolar.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
And how has the reaction been to 4 pills?
Oh, thank you for asking.
It's amazing, by the way. It is
Oh, thank you.
so good. If you guys don't know, Cameron has a special. It's on
Dropout.
Dropout. I always forget. I always want to say Detached, which I'm like, where did I come up with that?
I don't know.
But it's on Dropout.
You know what? We're working on that in
Yeah.
our lives, detachment.
It's incredible. If you haven't seen it, you need to go watch it right now. And what's the reaction been to it?
The reaction's been amazing. It got some pretty cool press coverage, which meant a lot to me. And then everybody I've heard from, the intention was to, like, I feel like the feedback I've gotten really matches the artistic intention, which is so cool when that happens, because that doesn't always happen.
Totally. And you directed it.
I did direct it, which is like a dream. And I think the main thing I'll say about that special is that, I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder at 40, for the fans. And I wanted to make a special where, as you're watching it, you kind of feel what it's like to have a manic episode. And I think that was successful, and that I feel very proud of, because if we're making art and have this opportunity, like live performance, I can't do that for an audience. I can tell them about it.
Yeah.
But if you're watching something, you can show somebody.
Totally.
That's like the coolest thing in the world.
Totally.
So I was jazzed about that, and I've gotten some feedback that people felt that way.
Yeah, no, I think it was extremely successful. And it like it had acts to it, right? Like an act
Yes.
1, act 2, act 3, and
That's
it like
right.
felt like it felt like more and more detached as it went. Like it
That's right.
became more and more about that. And also you did such. My favorite thing about comedy is like when people do a full circle, like when it comes back to a joke, or like, and then you're like, oh my God, because I think you have a joke early on about how you were having dreams about killing your ex. And then when you brought it full circle and you're like, and that is a literal symptom of bipolar disorder. And I
Yeah.
just didn't know. I was like, so smart, very smart comedy.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I loved it so
and I
much.
mean, some of that has been so amazing too, because I don't really talk about things on stage that I haven't said to somebody first anymore. And so like I got to, I'm sure it was still very emotional for them, but I got to like say to my ex-husband, this is what was happening with us. And that is such a privilege and gift, you know, to have that experience of just taking ownership and responsibility.
I'm sure that
Hell yeah.
was great closure for both of you. Also.
Yeah, and he's a sweetheart, and like now we can just be friends. So
Love.
strong recommend.
Love when that can happen for people and their exes. Sometimes.
Yeah, whatever, dude.
Sometimes that happens.
Well,
Okay.
come on. Sometimes you're nuts. You don't know you're nuts. So
Okay, C is for clowns.
yeah.
Can we please talk about how you dated a clown?
I did.
And you were in the circus.
I was in the circus.
What were you in the
I was
circus?
a ringmaster.
Of course.
But there were like no animals.
Okay.
But I would do this trick with children sometimes where I'd bring them on stage and then have them open their mouth really wide. Their parents were there. It was not
yeah.
disgusting. And then I'd like put my hand in their mouth like I was a lion tamer and they were the lion. This was very funny. Sometimes you're doing a joke, you go, I actually love this joke. But yeah, I was in the circus because I just asked to be. Like again, I was kind of a
Didn't
punk.
know you could do that. Didn't know.
I was like a punk rock young person. I knew some friends that were acrobats who train for their gigs at like Cirque du Soleil and stuff, but had like a gym in Chicago. And I was like, I knew they were going on tour. And I was like, you know what you need
A ringmaster.
is like a gay person, queer person to go in this 14-passenger van with you with your
You do. They
your
needed
trapezes and stuff.
So you didn't
yeah.
even date a clown from that circus?
No, I did. I dated a clown from that again, secretly, because we were all like driving around together. And then we were like, I mean, my young personhood was so unmanageable. But like, you know how sometimes you're in the circus and you're on the road and you only have one van to sleep in, but then you're like stopping at the venues and you're like sleeping on the floor of the venue. Classic story. And then two of you are like sneaking out in the middle of the night to go like make out outside, you know, and you're like, I can't believe I'm still making out outside. But then you're also like, hell yeah, you know?
The sneakiness of it all. Also, I'm like,
too much.
how many people have that experience? I'm like, is that
I was gonna say the way you said, you know, when you're in the circus. And sorry, I'm like, I don't. I wish I did. I'm like, that'd
Well,
be crazy.
It's not too late.
Yeah, it's so true. Vanessa, I can see you.
I'm gonna look into it.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh my God, Trogi. Okay, D is for dogs. Do you think co-parenting a pet after a split with a partner is possible?
Oh dear God, no. Do
you
not
tried,
make this.
right?
Yeah, do not make this choice. Worst choice on the planet. My poor former dog, Murph, like we shared custody after we split up. And I mean, he started barfing and biting.
Oh my God.
And I think it's because like, especially a dog, they need
Routine.
like their den and like routine and stuff.
Yeah.
And we're just treating him like
a child.
he like gets it, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
We're
yeah,
like, listen, you know, we love each other, but like, and it's like he doesn't fucking get it, not at all.
Yeah.
And when I decided to like give him to my ex, because it made sense for him to be like the parent, I remember a friend of mine was like, you know, maybe what you're doing is making room for like your next pet. Mm-hmm. And I do have the best dog in the world. Her name is Ruby. She's like incredibly spiritual.
I saw her on the special.
Yeah, she's the coolest.
So cute.
Yeah, so I think what I'll say is that I know as queer people, because our relationships are like so family, so young, so early, you know, like we're immediately family as opposed to like, I think straight people have like separate friends and they go watch sports or something. But like we're, you know, even if that's your family, you know, you have opportunity for other family after this. Like, you
Fair.
don't have to hold on forever.
Yeah.
And I think that was a lot of it. It's just like this fear. Is this like the only person I'm ever going to love? Or like the only dog I'm going to ever have in my life?
True. It's like layered. It's a double,
Yeah, dude. Hard to let go.
It's like a double divorce.
This episode is sponsored by Tomboy X, the original maker of boxer briefs for women. Tomboy X creates sustainable, size, and gender-inclusive underwear, swimwear, and loungewear for all bodies to help customers feel comfortable in their own skin. And the brand just celebrated their 12th birthday, so they know a thing or two about making gender and size-inclusive boxers. Again, I love their boy shorts, and they're so breathable, which is a relief in the summer heat. Some briefs can be a little bit, they can create some sweat. Tomboy X does not. If you're someone who struggles with finding swimsuits that you think fit your style at the pool and the beach, you have to check out their 2025 swim collection. One customer, Paula, said, I started with the 9-inch board shorts, but decided to try the 7-inch, and I love these so much, I bought 2 more. They have a wide range, not only of sizes, but of coverage for summer. So if you haven't seen them, I suggest you go look. Use code Shannon for 20% off your first purchase only at tomboyx.com. This episode is sponsored by Calm, the #1 app for sleep and meditation, giving you the power to calm your mind and change your life. If you're feeling like you're being pulled into a dozen different directions and you feel overwhelmed, or even if you just want to take care of yourself before you reach burnout, a few minutes a day with Calm can help you recharge and refocus regularly, so you have more to give without running on empty. I personally use Calm for sleep, but they also have guided meditations to help you work through anxiety and stress, boost your focus, build healthier habits, and take better care of your physical well-being. They also have grounding exercises to help you reset and relax when you're feeling overwhelmed. And lastly, they have expert-led talks to help you handle grief, improve self-esteem, or improve relationships, and so much more. The Calm app puts tools you need right into your pocket, so stress and anxiety relief is always within reach. Calm has over 2 million 5-star reviews and can help you stress less, sleep more, and live better. Who doesn't want that? Calm has an exclusive offer just for listeners of our show. Get 40% off a Calm premium subscription at calm.com/Shannon. This is an amazing value. Go to calm.com/Shannon for 40% off unlimited access to Calm's entire library. Calm.com/Shannon. And tell Calm you heard about them from me.
Ease for empathy. How does empathy play a role in your comedy, especially when addressing tough topics like sexual assault and mental health?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, and again, people are doing different things. Like when I started doing stand-up and I was such a freak, I think the thing that I noticed is that my audience also felt like freaks. Like people again and again would say to me, like, I don't come to stand-up shows because I don't want to be humiliated. And these are people who are humiliated. You know, we're humiliated every day of our lives, like either through like legislation or just like being on the fucking street. And for especially for comedy, where it's about, you know, hopefully like talking about what we're all doing here, I just didn't want to put people through that. And I think that the same thing is true for, because I do have a special about being a survivor of sexual assault and then, you know, dealing with mental health topics. I always assume, like I would sometimes follow, again, this is just like what comedy is like, so take it with a grain of salt, but I would follow dudes who at the time everybody was talking about, like rape jokes were like a thing.
Of course.
In a like stronger way than they are right now.
Yeah.
And dudes would make these jokes and I could tell that the perspective was nobody in the room has had this experience. And I would be on the bill next and I'd be like, well, literally I am here. But then I also walk out on stage and it's like, well, statistically, this is like
wrong.
Most of us.
Yeah.
So how can I talk about this knowing that this is something that these people in the room might even have more experience with than I do? And same thing for mental health. And I just think, again, I know I'm like getting in really heady about this, but like when people get criticism for being dickheads on stage, it's often because they have like no business talking about something.
Yeah.
Because they're acting as if this is like a topic as opposed to a person.
Yeah, so true.
So anyway, I can get really serious about comedy.
No, that's so true. And like also like they have no ability to empathize because they have no connection to it themselves. So
yeah, totally.
What are you doing? Okay, F is for these jump around so much. F is for fear. You face challenges as a comedian, especially as a queer person. How do you face fear when it creeps up, both in your personal life and on stage?
Well, the first thing I did was identify that I feel fear at all.
Okay.
Because I don't know. I don't know if it's bipolar disorder or like being queer and just like accepting that life is scary and hard. Mm-hmm. And my wife actually is the first person who pointed out to me that like when I'm driving to a show, I'll talk about what if like nobody's in the audience, which is very funny. Sometimes the show's like sold out.
Yeah, and you're like, what if
nobody's there? It's like, I don't know. A lot of people would be wasting their money.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think that like feeling fear is so normal. Sharing it with other people is so normal and helpful, and you're not a weirdo. Yeah, and I really think, especially for somebody younger than me, the biggest favor you could do for yourself is try to understand even what you're afraid of.
Yeah, where is it coming from?
Yeah.
So true. Okay, G is for garden.
Oh, I'm out here.
You're a first-time homeowner, and you talk a lot about your garden.
Yeah.
How's she doing? The home and the garden.
God, thank you so much for asking. Yeah, I'm so thrilled to be a homeowner, and it's also like kind of impossible because, you know, again, some of this is like, it's like we do live in a cultural context, and there's no dude in my house.
Yeah.
And that's fine, but like
That's
you should see
that's
me.
good.
Yeah, but like you should see me trying to talk to somebody who's like cleaning the solar panels and just being, and I'm like, I like shake everybody's hand. I'm like, nice to meet you, nice to meet you, nice to meet you. Because like otherwise there's no like, because they're expecting a guy.
Yeah.
Like they're expecting like some husband to come out with like his suit on, what a minute, you know what I mean? And so anyway, I take care of that stuff because not my mom, that's a, oh my God. No, because my wife, fuck me forever, because my wife has a full-time 9 to 5.
Okay.
And so like I have this
You'll be
flexible
there.
schedule. If anybody here heard me say my mom, you should
We can cut it. We can cut it.
We can cut it.
Because my wife has a full-time job. Yeah.
Wait, how green is your grass? Like, are you attached to it in a way that you're like, I want my lawn to be good? Like,
Well, one thing I'll say about how green is my grass is that I am realizing that I live in Los Angeles and this is the desert.
It's hard.
And so I've like planted some stuff that's really been successful, but I've also planted some stuff that like has bit the dust so hard.
Like immediately.
Like frowning at me.
Yeah.
And then I stare out the window at it all day. So much so that one of my neighbors definitely thinks I like stare in their windows. But I'm like, it's not about you.
I'm not looking at you.
It's about this fucking sage right here. I've overwatered it. How did I do that? I only watered it once. Anyway.
Vanessa is very into gardening as well.
Are you?
oh, well, like, I just like growth of anything. Like,
Yeah,
I
it's
was home on
beautiful.
the weekend and my dad was trying to fix grass patches, and I was like, hey, I saw this TikTok. Let's try this technique.
Right.
And then he did his area, I did mine, and I'm like, I'll be back in 2 weeks.
my
Let's see
God.
whose is better. I just like to do things right. Yeah, I get obsessed with things. But I
Well-
would too. I'm excited for a lawn one day.
I
Other than a
mean,
condo.
because you're in Toronto and I'm from Chicago. We talked about this right
Yeah.
before we were recording. And like, that's the situation I'm used to, is like a garden that will actually grow in any way, shape, or form. And then moving to LA, and I have these wild tiered gardens, and I'm just like an idiot. Like, I'm not like a fucking
No, but try one there.
landscape designer. I'm just like, what is going on? And I mean, when you'll come over and you'll see what I'm talking about.
can't wait
and
to
it's-
see.
Yeah, it's like very cute. The effort is very cute.
Yeah, I'm sure your wife appreciates it too.
Actually, to be honest, she has told me that if I talk to her about plants anymore, she's like gonna kill me.
You and Vanessa would be great friends.
Yeah,
truly.
I really,
I already feel the energy.
I
I'm
really
like,
get
that's
like hyper fixated on things.
Yeah.
And it's a
my
problem.
life.
Vanessa too. In Canada, tell them about the weed.
Oh, how long ago was that? Like 6 years, 5 years ago, it became legal. And my dad doesn't have anything to do with weed. He doesn't smoke it or do anything. But he has a green thumb, so he was really interested in growing it. So the neighbor gave him like a little, put it in the ground, and we bonded over it. I'm like, I would go home every 2 weeks.
my
We'd
God.
go, we'd look at the plant. It was so fun. Then we'd trim it. Anyways, I love weed, but I'm like, it's fun. It's hard to grow. It's so like, tedious, and like there's so many steps, but that was fun. We
This
haven't done
is
it in a couple
stupid,
years.
but I don't think I actually knew that weed like grew in the ground.
Yeah, and then
You
you
know
have
what
to
I mean?
dry it, and they had it in their.
So many steps that it's like, if you're not going to use it, don't, Like,
Yeah.
there's no point to do it.
Yeah.
But it's so fun. Wait, before we move on, what is your most favorite thing that you've ever grown? Or like,
Oh, well, again, I like
or had the most, it could be an house.
no, this is gonna make sense. Like, again, I'm from Chicago, right? And Chicago's amazing, but it's like flat and it's like clean and it's like skyscrapers. And when I first was coming to LA, I was like, wait, what if I'm like into horses? You know what I mean? And what if I'm like into like cacti? And if you go to my house, because my wife has like the completely different style, but I have like, I mean, it really looks like I grew up on a ranch in Montana. Like, my whole house is covered in horses. I've got cacti all over my garden. Everything's like a painting of like someplace I've basically never been. You know what I mean? And I'm like, listen, like, welcome to the vibe. This is how we are. And it's just silliness.
And I'm from Texas, and you would never know.
There you go, kid.
Nothing.
Here we are.
Nothing in here giving anything like that. Cactuses are crazy to grow, though, too. And also, if you ever like gotten them in your hand, or like I fell into a cactus once,
Yes, dude.
and I'm really allergic to them. I like broke out
no.
crazy bumps everywhere, and also had to pull them out. But it was like bad.
They grow for like over 100 years, don't they? Like when they get like real beefy and big, I'm like, they could be alive for years.
They can be alive for a lot of years. And just,
Yeah.
and to that, it's like, I have like 97 pairs of gardening gloves. This is who I am as a person. And I kept using them to put a cactus in. And then I would like be like, these gloves are actually full of needles. So like, I can't use these. And then I would move on to like the next gloves.
Mm-hmm.
And now I just have like a giant pile of ruined gloves that sometimes I'll be like, maybe the needles fell out, and I'll like put them back on. And I have to go soak my hands in hydrogen peroxide, because that's not a real thing. Needles don't fall out of gloves.
The needles fell out.
They
for
stay in
sure.
there.
No, they're literally, they'll stay in anything. They're
Yeah.
and they're so fine.
And they're itchy.
Yeah, they
They're so
hurt like a
itchy.
motherfucker.
Okay, the next one, we did already kind of talk about this a little, but H is for hair, because you have had iconic hair. Do you feel like you finally landed at a place where you're like, this is my hairstyle, or do you think you'll keep going and changing forever?
I mean, who knows? But I'm kind of obsessed with what's going on with my hair right now, because it feels really relaxed, and it feels like, to me, it feels really androgynous.
Yeah.
And I'm excited because I think for a long time when I felt like I had to do androgyny, that meant like short hair. And I think part of that was like that era. But seeing people like Harry Styles actually changed my life. And I've always been like Bowie. Like, that's what I've always just been like, that's who I feel like. Again, he actually has pretty short hair. And then the like flexibility that I saw with Harry around his gender stuff, I was like, oh, maybe I can just actually be more feminine. This also was helpful. I started lifting weights pretty seriously.
Nice.
And my body got more muscular.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I actually don't need to like look like I'm gonna beat you up, because I could, you know? And so yeah, I'm obsessed with talking about, you know, the way that we walk in the world with hair.
Yeah, I think you can
think it's
play
super
with it
interesting.
more.
Yeah,
Like,
totally.
it's giving like Kurt Cobain.
Yeah, fuck yeah. I mean, I think it's definitely like a rocker cut, but I will also say that, oh my God, can you just tell me that it's okay? I can't tell, like, what's going on with my part. You know how it is.
Oh, we
Because like
know.
I'm technically cusp millennial. Like I'm like the,
No, you're doing like a middle side.
oh God. I mean, because it can't quite go the middle, because that's like not really, I mean, it could, but that's not really like the point of this kind of cut. It could,
It could,
but I'm not.
but it looks
Like
like
a-
you're not parting it. It looks like it's fallen.
That's
Like,
that's what's going on. It would be
that's-
forced. I guess
yeah.
that's what I'm trying to say. This is actually
This
where
looks
my
just
hair
like
parts.
genuine, like
Oh, thank God.
relaxed. Relaxed is good.
No, that's real.
Yeah.
But you know what it is. You
Oh, we
look. You
we
get
have a lot of-
humiliated by a younger generation. You're just like, I'm just trying to live, man. This is where my hair goes.
No, I think you're doing the right thing.
Okay, thank God.
You're doing the right thing.
You're the first time that I've seen somebody with a haircut that I'm like, I'm jealous. I love it. It's perfect. Like, it's so crazy. I don't think it's been a while.
Yeah.
I don't
God.
think I like
No,
your hair.
I don't. I
love how yours looks.
We're not doing the best right now, I think, with hair. I feel like a lot of people are rocking what I've been doing, which is a low bun parted down the center. And I'm like, I need to move past that. Like a Robbie Hoffman.
But this is what
doing
I
it.
feel curious about
Yeah.
is like, that is so outside of like my style or
Yeah.
purview that when I think for such a long time in my life, I felt like I'm like exactly in the moment of what the queer hairstyle is. And now we've hit this thing where I'm like,
I don't want to do it.
that it's not just doing not want to do it. It's like, that will never be me. Like, I
Yeah.
can't even imagine. How do you even do a low bun? Like, don't care. Like, do not care. And so, anyway, I'm so proud of you.
Oh my God.
That you're in that vibe. And I like wish you well.
Thank you so much.
Off you go.
No. I am inspired by you. We're gonna one day I'm gonna figure it out. It's hair. People on my podcast literally are sometimes like, please stop talking about your hair. But I can't. It's so connected to my gender
Of
expression
course.
that I'm like, it's an obsession. Like it is, and the hats of it
course.
all.
But
Right,
you looked
Vanessa?
very feminine when your hair was very short. Like, it did something to the way that your face was cut that I'm like, you looked more feminine. You should show Cameron a picture after when the
Yeah.
podcast is done.
Yeah.
It was like your
Well,
chin.
I support you.
Thank you so much.
Having this much space for this in your life.
Thank you so much.
Because it's one of the things that when people greet us, it's around our face.
Yeah.
And like, I actually do think I have an extremely
Gorgeous
gay
face.
face. Oh, thank you. I think I'm like so fucking gay in the face, which I feel so grateful for, right?
Yep.
Because some people are working against a gay face.
Yeah.
And they're-
I call it gaze.
yeah.
Like
yeah.
you've got gaze.
Yeah, it's like you got to figure out like what to pierce or like how to do your eyebrow slit or something,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Is, like,
And you just have it
or
naturally.
like what position you got to do, but no, I just have the gayest face, which I feel so happy about. And anyway, if you don't have that, then it's all about cueing, right? Which we've been doing forever.
Yeah, flagging.
Yeah,
like-
exactly. And it's like here we are out in the world.
And hair is such an easy way to do it.
Exactly, because it's like the next thing you look at too.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, if
Yeah.
you don't notice my eyes, have you ever considered my hair?
Have you ever considered my hair? No, it's too real. Okay, well, when I get my hair cut, I'll also send you a picture.
You have to.
Well, we follow each other, so you'll see it. But okay, I is identity. How did you come to the term gender fluid?
Oh, I mean, again, this is kind of cool. It's like younger people, because that is not.
Like a word that
We
was,
didn't talk about gender stuff. Like
Yeah.
it was happening. There weren't names for it. Honestly, the only word that I knew was butch, which
Yeah.
is like not even necessarily a word that like I don't even know if that's a community that I really have access to. And so yeah, there were like no words for it.
Yeah.
And like I used to have jokes about like, I mean, this is so old you won't even know what I'm talking about, but where I would say I was a Thundercat, which is an 80s cartoon where they had like honestly this haircut.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I would say like I'm a fighter pilot. Like I just would say stuff that people like knew what I meant.
But it
There was like no other word to use.
yeah, you were like coming up with like metaphors.
Exactly.
To be like,
I'm just saying random stuff where I was like, what if I was wearing glasses and like driving and like flying a plane? Would you get it? And people were like, sure,
Yeah,
totally.
yeah.
And now there's just like a way of describing it.
yeah, the language is just evolving. We lost Vanessa.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Vanessa. Okay. J is jokes. Do you have a joke that you're most proud of in your most recent stand-up special, 4 Pills?
You know what? It's not a pre-written joke, but there is a moment that so my editor and I, when we were working on it, she did such a huge lift and it was so cool working with somebody that closely. But there's this moment where I like dropped something on the floor and leaned down to get it. And I like caught the camera that was on the floor, like looking down the barrel of the lens, which was not planned
Intentional.
at all. And really felt like in the moment, I think it feels kind of what a live show feels like, which is how I like to do specials. And we weren't sure if we were going to have a place to use it. And it was like, I really wanted to keep it in because it felt like so often when you see stand-up specials, it doesn't look anything like stand up.
Yeah.
It's like there's like a crane shot.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
the floor's all shiny. And you're like, what is this?
Very
This is
manicured.
yeah, like this is cool or whatever, but it has nothing to do with stand up. And so anyway, I'm like kind of obsessed with that shot. I'm really glad we got to use it.
I like that it's a visual thing and not just like something that you had written. Was it hard? Because you edit between, it goes like from one to the next. So did you have to try really hard to stay on script? Like, not that it's scripted exactly, but like, were you self-conscious of being like, make sure that this lines up in edit?
Yeah, I mean, the lift on that, which was not just mine, that's why I shout out my editor, is that we shot 2 live shows.
Okay.
Right? And then we shot on a white screen the next day and tried to be aware of what had been captured on the first day. But like, it was impossible.
Yeah, it's got to be so hard. I was thinking about it the whole time.
Impossible.
I'm like, how did they make sure that they got it? Like, it was, and it worked so well.
Yeah.
You did a great job.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Well, again, it's like, so I brought all this footage and it was in a certain order, but some of it like didn't actually work with the way it needed to be cut. And my editor, and I was there too, but like she really led the charge, reordered a lot of stuff.
Got it. That's hard.
It's so hard, but that's part of why, oh my God, I'm just belching into a microphone. That's part of why it like flows so perfectly.
Yeah.
So what's up, Liza?
Good
She did an
job,
amazing
Liza.
job.
You crushed. It's so good. Okay. I really wonder where she went. I hope she's okay. K is for Kevin Bacon. And do you think he agrees you look like each other? Have you heard from him?
He has to. I don't know him, but I know somebody in his family. And I would like to ask this person, but I haven't yet.
I need him to weigh in. We have to get Kevin's opinion. I don't know that it's going to be me who gets it, but I'm
one
like,
of those things where like so many people comment it. I used to get Jim Carrey a lot. Now I get Kevin Bacon. And
I can see both, but I also,
Me too.
yeah, I think that Jim Carrey's also probably the delivery a little bit too,
Yeah.
like the comedy of it all.
Totally.
But you could easily play Kevin Bacon's sibling in anything.
I couldn't
Can you
agree
imagine?
more.
Like
I
that?
would love to do it. I'm ready.
It would be
Yeah.
such perfect casting. Kevin, where are you?
This episode is sponsored by Shopify. When you're starting a new business, it's so important to think about the business behind your business. And for millions of businesses around the world, that's Shopify. Even my business. I've used Shopify for years, and if you're sitting on a business idea, I really, really do recommend Shopify. It's so easy and it is so helpful. Get started with your own design studio. With hundreds of ready-to-use templates, Shopify can help you build a beautiful online store to match your brand style. You can also accelerate your content creation with Shopify's helpful AI tools that write product descriptions, page headlines, and even enhance your product photography. Get the word out like you have a whole marketing team behind you, because Shopify easily creates email and social media campaigns wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling. And best yet, Shopify is the commerce expert with world-class expertise in everything from managing inventory to international shipping to processing returns and beyond. If you're ready to sell, you're ready for Shopify. Turn your big business idea into with Shopify on your side. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/alphabet. Go to shopify.com/alphabet. And one more time, that's shopify.com/alphabet. This episode is sponsored by ZocDoc. When was the last time that you needed to go to the doctor, but you pushed it off because of some excuse? That was like my whole MO, my early 20s and late 20s and all of my 20s. Because making a doctor's appointment can feel really, really daunting. I could always find an excuse not to go. Sometimes it was just because I was too busy, but most of the time it was because I didn't know which doctor to go to. I think we've all been there. But thanks to ZocDoc, you don't have to stay there because they make booking a doctor's appointment easy. No more excuses. We're talking about booking in-network appointments with more than 100,000 doctors across every specialty, from mental health to dental health, and primary care to urgent care, and so much more. You can filter for the doctors that take your insurance, are located nearby, are a good fit for any medical need you may have, and are highly rated by verified patients. Once you find the right doctor, you can see their actual appointment openings, choose a time slot that works for you, and click to instantly book an appointment. Appointments made through ZocDoc also typically happen fast, anywhere between 24 and 72 hours after booking, and sometimes you could even score a same-day appointment. I've used ZocDoc, and you should too. Stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/Shannon to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/Shannon. And one more time, that's ZocDoc.com/Shannon.
L is for love. You've been married twice. What's one thing you've learned about love that stayed with you?
Okay, I think this is such a good question.
Also loaded.
No, it's rad. My first marriage, I really, really love this person. And also I had a lot of like self-esteem stuff around kind of seeing like what was out there in life. Like, did I make the right choice? Like, is this the life I want to have? Is this the right job for me? Do I want to live here? And that included this person. And I don't mean that in like it's not because he wasn't awesome. It was because I felt like sort of like what's the person in the world that's going to reflect the best on me, which is so fucked up. And it's not a healthy way to go into a relationship. But I think because I felt so pushed out of the world by like gender stuff, queerness stuff, I just felt so humiliated constantly that I was trying to prove something, including in like who I could get to be partnered to me. And when that marriage ended, that it's like, okay, then you're just going to end up where you are, because if you don't like yourself and if you are looking, guess what? You can look forever for anything. Like there's always a job that's cooler than your job.
Yeah.
There's always a house that's cooler than your house. And there's always a partner who like other people might give feedback on or whatever.
Yeah.
My wife, what I do now in my marriage is that I am just completely and totally in. Like I'm all the way committed. And that has changed so much. Obviously, it's like, how can somebody stay committed to you if you're like fucking looking around for not just another partner, but like a better life?
Yeah.
Like, that so is brought.
Of course.
Like
how
into
could
your
romantic
yeah,
partnership as well.
It's like, I guess I'm not good enough. I guess our life isn't good enough.
It's like was it like a comparison thing? Like, were you seeing someone else's life that you thought was better than yours? Or was it just, do you think it's more of like just an uncertainty in yourself kind of thing?
I think some of it was like the generation I actually am, because I had like no idea what I was supposed to be or do, and I don't know that anybody else did.
Yeah.
So I was like, I just really felt like I was walking through the world like, is this it?
Yeah.
And
totally.
that affected everything.
Like, because you have no role models or representation, or it's kind of like what we were saying before, like it's almost like the blind leading the blind. Like you're like, what is this supposed to look like if I've never seen it before?
Totally. And I'm like, be walking a red carpet, which is such an extreme version of this, and just be like, why? I mean, literally, I'm the only person wearing anything that looks like this. Like, it's just like, I don't know. I mean, I don't actually know how your viewers feel now, or you're less, like, to me, I feel like I felt like such an outsider, and I don't know whether or not that's changed for people.
I mean,
but
there's always like an otherness, I think, like a little bit of a layer of otherness, and I think that's why we seek out queer spaces so much, because you do feel like, oh, this must be crazy to just blend in, you know, especially if you're like, I'm not doing anything really that radical with my style compared to some queer people, or I'm like, wow, you stand out everywhere you go. Like, I can really blend in sometimes. Like, when I'm at the airport, I'm not so self-conscious of like, does everyone here know I'm a lesbian? Like, I'm like,
airport, man.
the airport is, I just had a guest on, and she's a trans woman, and she talked about the airport, and I was like, wow, I never really thought about that. 'Cause she's like, even at LAX, not everyone at LAX is from Los Angeles. So
That's right.
She's like, going to the bathroom at the airport is like the scariest place that I have to go to the bathroom, because I'm like, these people are from all over the world. So you're being perceived in such a unique way Because when are you ever in a room where it's like, who is my audience? You don't know the audience.
Totally. I mean, airport that's so funny you mention it, because I think for me it's like one of the top examples that I use.
Yeah.
Because I've traveled so much for work. And I just sometimes even just see how people treat me and how like unplaceable I am. Because like, here's an example: men that help women get their bags down.
Oh yeah.
Truly will never fucking. I'm so small. I'm 5'4". Sometimes I literally can't reach it, and it's not like I couldn't ask, because sometimes I might ask.
Yeah.
But it's like there's like a woman next to me, and they're literally like going like 9 rows back, like surfing back there to be like, "May I help you with your bag, ma'am?" And like
so,
just like
it's so
bowing before her, and I'm just like, I'm so little and I can barely do this. And like, don't hurt me, you know? Like, just can you ignore
help
the
me
motorcycle jacket? I'm so small, you know?
small.
And anyway, I just
it's so real.
Yeah,
it's so real. And I get sirred at the airport on airplanes. People be like,
"Bro,
sir," I'm like, are we looking at my face?
I was just gonna say,
like, you
wait
know,
a minute, hang on.
Way.
no,
You
my
got
God.
a sirred?
How many
Oh my God,
times?
getting sirred?
Yes.
Wow.
I mean, when my hair was short, especially, people would be like, "Hey, bro, sir," and I'm like, you know I'm a
Oh
woman.
my God.
Yeah.
What you be the prettiest boy in the world.
Thank you so
I mean,
much.
literally, what is going on with this boy's like lashes and nose bridge? Like, is he okay? He feels weird about himself. You know what I mean? He's like,
No, it's so real.
a little
But
too
it is-
Peter Pan.
It is real. What'd you say?
They weren't looking at you face on. Maybe
Yeah,
they
it's
were,
like more like from like the back or whatever. But I'm like,
Right.
I don't know. I think the airport is like a crazy place.
Totally. I do have sort of, I guess that's, I don't,
No,
I'm so
you're
sorry.
fine.
But no, I do have like an andro face, right?
Yeah.
So when I had short hair and people would serve me, I would just be like,
You're a little boy.
I don't know what to say here.
You're like,
Okay.
okay.
Happy to.
Thanks.
Like, how did I afford first class? My mom and my dad put me on this plane. I'm flying by myself for the first time. Give me some wings, you know?
My dad put me on it. I'm dead. Okay, M is for marriage. How do you make it work?
Separate lives. Strong recommendation to the queers.
Yeah.
Who are not always doing this. My wife and I have like totally different groups of friends, and we love each other's friends
of course.
and hang out with each other's friends, but they are not one group of friends. We have really different hobbies.
Nice.
Again, support each other's hobbies. They have nothing to do with each other. And we have totally different jobs. Couldn't be, more different in that regard. But we both have jobs where we understand what each other's job is.
That's nice.
And I guess that's what I'll say, sort of what I was referencing earlier. It's like separation is not necessarily built into queerness.
Yeah.
So I don't think that I knew how important it was. And I was like, what if we have one life?
Let's
How'll that
share
go? And it's like, it doesn't go well. Because, like, you actually do have different dreams and personalities and things.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah.
It is so easy to become codependent, I think, for queer relationships.
Totally.
But the separate friends. Like Vanessa has a partner that she's been with for 9 years.
Yeah, how long have you been married?
I've actually, today is my 4-year wedding anniversary.
No way.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
My wife is in New York for work, and so we got to wake up together.
Sweet.
And she gave me a big kiss, and
That's
then she went to the airport, and I, when I was planning to be here today, I thought, this is, what, who doesn't want to do a podcast
On their-
with
on
a
their
bunch of
anniversary.
friends on their anniversary? But we've been together for, honestly, I have no idea, which is a very weird answer. 6 years?
yeah.
6. Okay.
And Vanessa, 9.
I'm like 9, approaching 10.
Yeah, how's
Next
it
year.
feel?
But I'm like, I'll die with her. I'm like, there's no rush on anything, but it is coming now where I'm like, okay. I definitely do want to marry her. I'm like, I do want it to be a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
At the
Vanessa's
beginning.
partner is a school teacher too, so they have
It lives.
very separate lives too.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah,
is good.
it does.
Wow.
It makes it a lot, I don't know, not easier, but like, I get excited to hear about her days. I'll
Yeah.
never relate to them. I don't know about it. Tell me about it. And then same, like, goes with me. And then she's got her own friends. I have my friends. It's nice.
Is there anything you feel weird about with marriage specifically? As you think
No,
about
I
that
think it's because when we
transition?
first started dating, we were like, we don't really want to do that, And then it was like 3 years, and it got to 5 years, and then she made a comment being like, "Well, I wouldn't mind," and then I was like, "Okay, yeah, I think both of our families our families are still together, but no one really set us up for like the excitement of it. And then again, like the thought of being, I'm like me in a dress dancing with my dad, like things like that, being walked down the aisle. Like that's what I was stressed about growing up. But obviously that's not our problem now. So I think we'll do like a little like elope, like go somewhere, do something private, and then do something with friends to like celebrate friends and family. But I just always thought it was supposed to be like a wedding just seemed like it was for everybody else but the two people getting married.
I totally get it. Well, if you ever want to talk wedding suits, I've got a lot of thoughts because that's what I wore.
Oh my gosh.
And
genuinely will message you about that.
no, we should. It's something I love talking about. And then also, I had 2 very non-traditional weddings that really fit us, and so I
Love.
people do not need to get married. You should do whatever you want. But
Yeah.
it has been different than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
For sure.
It also doesn't have to look one way.
No.
Yeah.
I just want you to get married so I can party with you. It's for me. It's for everyone else. It's not for you.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay. N is NDA. What's something that's off the table in your comedy?
Oh my God. Well, I don't and have never talked about the actual details of my divorce. Not because there's something like it. Well, my ex-husband is also a stand-up comic and he hasn't either. And I just think that it would be like so public. People would know who we were talking about. Not because we like are wildly, you literally just have to like
You can Google it.
image me and sadly like half of the photos are still,
Because you had one
are
life.
still in the past. Yeah.
You had one
yeah, we
life.
performed together and like we're both in the industry and stuff. So it's been a lot to like use
Yeah.
to overcome. But
yeah, the details of your divorce.
yeah.
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 I think that's
We don't have to like give everybody everything.
Yeah.
I am trying to figure that out.
Yeah. I get it.
I'm learning that as
It's
I
hard.
go. Yeah, it is hard. Okay, I kind of want to skip O and then come back to it because P is processing.
Oh.
Because you said in your stand-up that you have a rule now that you have to talk to a person that you love about something
Yeah.
before you can talk about it on stage.
Right.
Which I guess it's just inspired by what you just were saying too. But how has that affected you in your stand-up? Like processing it with someone first.
Well, I think that for so many years of my life, it's like the people who had the most information about me were strangers.
Yeah.
Which I get it, like cute choice and like lovely coping mechanism, but like these are people who don't care about me. Not that they don't care about me, like they do, because they're great people, but like they don't know me. Mm-hmm. There's a staged persona. That's not me. And like that's who I felt the most comfortable talking to.
Yeah.
Bunch of random strangers who have paid me.
Yeah,
So wild.
so what? I've said it because I relate, because I feel like growing up, my parents used to always be like that I was so what do you call it? Like I wouldn't tell them a lot. I have an older sister. Casey will call my mom and talk on the phone for like 2 hours, and my mom could put the phone down, walk away, and my sister's still talking. And then I came along and I watched that, and then I became really quiet and like not quiet, but I just wasn't processing my emotions with people. I was more of like a comedic relief or like whatever in my family, not someone who's like, this is what I'm going through. And then obviously being gay, I doubled down with that and became even more insular. And then when I started doing the internet stuff, which has like been over 10 years now, I started sharing such vulnerable, like suicidal like thoughts and stuff online, like how I'd gone through them, which are things I would have shuddered at talking to my mom and dad and like family about. And it's weird now that I've been doing it for so long. Like the internet in some ways knows way more about me or way more things that I've like shared than friends and family. And I, over the last 10 years, have tried to flip that. And I feel like I have, but it took like a long time. It took like 5 years to start being like, okay, what if I trust the people who are around me every day instead of like speaking out into the void, which was also really cathartic though.
Absolutely.
To just like have, like you got people laughing and
Yeah.
I had people like commenting, being like,
Absolutely.
I relate to you. But then it gets like scary at some point.
Well, and also like thank God for coping mechanisms because we need them and they work till they don't.
Yeah.
And like I had a moment where this changed for me, like an actual moment, and it's when I was prepping for my special Rape Jokes, which is about being a survivor of sexual assault, and I like invited a friend to come see the show, and afterwards she was like, "Why didn't you tell me about this?" in like a really nice way, and I was like, wow, this is so weird to like invite your friend to hear like a really personal story that you've never told her, just like but like mixed into a bunch of like people you're never gonna have lunch with, and you're just like, sit here, I care about all these relationships in equal amount, and here's a really personal thing. How do you want to respond? Like it's so weird, and it really changed my life to get that feedback. I was like, oh yeah, maybe like hit you up with like a phone call or something.
Yeah, that you probably needed that to happen.
Yeah,
right?
thank God.
Yeah.
What's up, Shauna?
Okay, now we're going back to O, which is occupation. What would you be doing if it weren't comedy? And is being a priest still on the table?
Yeah, I mean, being a priest, felt that calling very deeply, which is so funny and so real.
Yep.
So maybe that. I also just feel like so unskilled or like ill prepared to do literally anything else. I mean, there's a lot of things that because I did stand up, I always just thought I would work in live performance. And then when I moved to LA, people were like, but what if you also wrote a book? And I was like, sure.
Yeah.
Which is so nuts as a response. Or like, do you want to be in a TV show? And I was like, I guess, you know, like, like I literally don't know what any of the words mean. I'm not an actor. And then like could do those things partially because of this other skill set. But if like my wife has a 9-to-5 and she has like a boss and she's so good at it. And she was talking to me I can't remember when this was. It was like a few years ago. And some of our other friends were over and she was talking to me about like some piece of jargon. And I was like, I don't know what that means. And she was like, I knew what this meant when I was like 22. And I was like, well, Katie, the thing is I've never had a job.
No, you're like,
which is so goofy.
It is so weird. You're like, I've been working, but I've never had a job.
Yeah,
No,
totally.
Like, if someone asked me to try to figure out how to work Slack, I'd be like, I can't.
My wife just made fun of me for this because when I was working with Dropout, was like trying to figure out how to be. They kept being like, "Are you on Slack?" And I was like, "No."
Is Slack a Discord? Like,
right. I don't exactly. And then I like
use
joined and like did the wrong thing. I invited them to my room. I don't know. Katie was literally like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "That's a great question. Do you know?"
No, literally. You should see me on an email chain. The amount of times I email just the person back and they're like,
"Oh my
Shannon,
God.
Can you please forward to all?" I'm
Totally.
like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, well,
Like, I don't want to even log into my email as much as I also don't want to log into my bank account. I would like to log off, honestly, of everything if I could. But here we are.
you're going to get really good at email. That's one of the things that's going to really happen for you. I believe that.
Thank you so much. I really hope one day. Okay, let's go to Q, which is query. Do you miss it?
This is my podcast I ran for a long time. Yes, I miss it because it was such a cool way to talk to other queer people. And I met and made some real friends that I still know from being on the show. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Literally.
It's wild.
Yeah.
You're like, this can't possibly turn into anything. It does. It does. You know, I think another thing I'll say is that show is from such a different era. It's not like, I think I started it in 2016. And so
it has to be like one of the first gay podcasts.
Yes. Like, and I'm not saying that to like
really
be up my own butthole, but like, yes, it was. I was listening to an interview with a friend of mine who's like a notable person who is also queer, like a mainstream interview. And this person asked them, it was Terry Gross. You hear me, Terry? Terry Gross asked this person if she'd ever slept with a man as a part of like an interview that was made on fucking NPR.
Weird.
And I was like, this is so nuts. Like, what are you talking about? And that is when I was like, we need it was like, imagine this being like a revolutionary idea.
No,
I was like, we need like a podcast that's for us.
Yeah.
You know, we're like, I talk to other queer people and we don't necessarily talk about whether we've like
fucked men,
dudes, you know, or we can, but like, it's like not part of it, you know? And then like pitched this idea and people were like, this is nuts, you know what I mean? And
you are a trailblazer.
it's so funny
in
though.
like everything. You being gay your whole career is so fucking awesome. Like, I don't know how many people can say that.
It's really unusual actually for somebody my age.
Really unusual. Yeah. You don't have to, like, you have no coming out
I know.
special because you were just out the whole time.
I know.
That's so cool.
I know. Sadly, the only thing I missed was those headlines.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fucking get on the radar. Where it's like,
I know. It's so true.
Like sneaky photos of this person, that person making out. And I was just like, here's the photos. I posted them on the internet myself.
I felt that way about when a bunch of YouTubers would come out and they'd have these like viral coming out videos.
Totally.
I would feel this like little ping of like, well, I've been making all my content about being out.
Look at you.
You're like, and then you're like, but where's give me my 15 minutes of fame or whatever. And I'm like, but it's such I appreciate what I've done in the other way because I never had like a viral moment. Well, I've had some random.
I think you came out when you showed your face though, because you started it, then you hid your face, and then you brought your face back. That was pretty viral. Like, I think.
For Tumblr.
Wow. Yeah.
Well,
no,
even
I mean,
Instagram, like, it was real.
I'm so happy for you and proud of you that you've gotten to like make a living and be honest. Mm-hmm. That is so
not everyone has that.
And it's hard also because like I don't know why people get to have feelings about that, but some people do.
But they do.
And
my stomach is growling.
Me too. What's going on with us?
It's
we need pancakes.
So loud.
This is one of our biggest problems right now.
Yes.
I was going to say, is something going on? I can hear it. I'm just kidding.
Oh my God.
No, you know what? I'll just say that's like a very funny detail, which is that years ago I was hosting the GLAAD Awards and Troye Sivan had just come out on whatever like YouTube thing. And I think he got like what was technically almost like a lifetime achievement award. I think he was like 16.
Oh my God.
And he like came and he got this award. I'd never heard of him. I had no idea who he was. And he was.
That must have been so weird for you.
That's what I'm saying. I'm out here like, fuck you. You know what I mean? And like he's 4.5 years old. And then I was like, this guy's a fucking flash in the pan. You know?
No,
see you later, idiot. You're never gonna make it.
I'm fucking dead.
Yeah.
Now it's Troye Sivan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He seems to have made it.
He
seems fine.
It's going fine. I'm fucking dead. Okay. Ours relationship, you've called comedy your longest romantic relationship. How's that relationship doing?
Oh my God, so cute. I'm actually playing a little hard to get.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm sick of doing stand up on the road so much. One thing I think is also true is that I like didn't love my life at home because I wasn't investing in my community and friends, and I was just like committed to this sort of like I'm a fucking cowboy with like one roller bag, checking into hotels, and like you don't know where I am, and that is really cute when you're 27, and then when you're like 40, it's like, bro, are you all right?
Yeah,
you know, and the answer is no. So I like my life so much, and it makes it hard to leave it. And so I'm understanding more about like what it means if you still want to do stand-up, but you don't want to use this framework of touring that is like...
You can't be the only comedian who feels that way, though, too. So there has to be...
No, people just get old. It's part of it, for sure.
But there has to be like a better... I mean, also, what a gift that you love your life enough to not want to leave it.
Can you believe?
Yeah,
I know, it's the best.
I feel like I've gone through phases of my life where I'm like, I would love to not be home at all.
Listen, I can help you set that up.
At all.
Do you want to like have a moody walk through any random city wearing cowboy boots? I got you.
Been there, done it. Okay, S is, this is going to sound crazy, but S is for surgery. 'Cause
Oh,
you've had a few, and you've talked about your
have.
experience with doctors in general, like IVF and going to the gynecologist as a more masculine presenting person.
Yeah.
Do you think that doctors are ever going to catch up with what's going on with people like us?
You know, well, I'll tell you something wild that I didn't know, because you're right. I had an egg retrieval, which is something I've talked about. And when I went in to meet with like different places to do that, they give you stats, right? Because they're trying to sell you something. It's like essentially a car,
Weird.
but it's your own body. There's like a slideshow
so
where they're
weird.
like, here's what you can get. But part of it would be stats. And then one thing I found out is that they don't study us. Like, and I think of that as like a part of a queer story. Like, people have surrogates, or people like freeze their eggs, or like trans folks, work it into like when they're going to go on certain hormone therapies, or like whatever. I'm like, this is part of our life. And actually, because everything is built for straight people, it's what they actually study are like people who are having a difficult time with fertility because of what's going on in their bodies, not because they don't have like the right raw materials. And so all of the stats are wacky.
Yeah.
Like, you're sitting there and they're like, this is what it's like if you and your like husband's dick have been trying for a while. And I'm just like sitting there like, but that's not even
There's
the
no.
vibe. So what do you have to say to me?
Yeah.
And they're like, nothing. We don't care. So anyway, that's a fun thing to find out.
Yeah.
Don't you love it?
Yeah, I love it. I mean, it's like anytime I've ever called to get put on, like if I've ever had a UTI or something and I called to get medicine, and they do they walk through every question they can think of like, okay, do you use condoms? Like, and like, no. And they're like, are you on the pill? No. Are you having sex? Yes. Are you worried about getting pregnant? Like, I'm like, and these are like video calls too with doctors. And I'm like, are we not seeing that there's another option? Like, that's never even something that is on the list of like, and then I'm like, no, I only sleep with women. And then they're like, oh. But I'm like, when are you going to figure it the fuck out? Also, I live in
Totally.
LA. I'm like calling California doctors.
I know.
And they'll be women.
Also, what if we say it right away? What if we hear the first question and we say, just so you know, I'm with girls?
I know, but I feel like the medical world in general should just catch up to.
True.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it is complicated because I had a bunch of medical stuff happen in the last year, which is part of what is also in the special. Yeah, I mean, bringing your wife to the ER and she's like
That's
pushing
all
your wheelchair and people are like, how are you guys related? Just to your point about you say it first, I'm like,
Yeah.
this is my wife. And they're like, okay, but real quick, like, how do you know each other? And you're like, well, you
Yeah,
know,
that's
or
crazy.
You're like, do you want our meet cute?
Yeah, exactly. Or, the idea of the pregnancy thing. I mean, I think they actually have to because so many people don't know they're pregnant and so many people lie, especially to ER doctors about various things.
Yeah, true.
So they can't like treat you and then find out that there's a baby. But it's also very weird. I actually did have somebody believe me one time. And even that was kind of a weird experience where I was like, there's no chance I'm pregnant. Like have actually never had procreative sex, and this person was like, okay, and then I was like, why do you believe me? And you're like,
Then you're like, wait, but
what if I'm a fucking liar, man?
you're like, but guys want me sometimes. So
yeah, dude.
Listen,
Let's
get that clear.
Like, get this clear. Yeah, check it out. I'll pee in that.
Well, it's also like if you go on Accutane, you have to go get your blood drawn, and
That's right.
if you're a girl, and it is only to make sure you're not pregnant because there's so much. Well, don't quote me on this exactly because I don't know, but what I've heard is that women have to go get their blood drawn to be able to prove that they're not pregnant so they can be on Accutane because it causes so many birth defects.
Right.
But they will not take you saying, I am not sleeping with men as like a reason to not have to go in and get your blood drawn, which is
Right.
crazy.
Well, I mean, that is, I think, true. And also part of what we can do for ourselves as queer people is try to establish long-term relationships with providers ahead of time before we really need them. Because I do have a dermatologist that I have been working with for like probably 10 years at this point. because you got to get shit done in your face even if nobody knows you did because you're a little boy. But anyway, that relationship, I almost went on Accutane, and he actually didn't. He told me that was a thing, but he told me in a context of, I don't know if you're going to get pregnant because you have this certain type of body and you might try a different way. And that was so different than like coming in and thinking it might be for a different reason. It still applies, like it still could apply.
Yeah.
And I know not everybody has like insurance, and I know not everybody has access to affirming medical care, but finding those people and then like investing in them knowing you ahead of time is very annoying. Strong hate, but it's worth it if you can find those people.
That's actually great advice. If you can. In America, good luck.
Good luck. Best of luck.
Canada, Vanessa, maybe you'll be okay.
Yeah.
T is for top or bottom. I'm not asking you. Don't worry. I want to say, have you seen this conversation evolve over the years and be like talked about more by lesbians?
Yes, I have. I mean, one thing I'll say is like, you don't have to ask. Why would you ask?
Yeah, exactly.
But also, I do think that something we could talk about more is also like being versatile. And I think that's also a huge part of our community. We don't have to conform to like, this is the big boy and this is the little girl. I think that's kind of silly, especially in a world where like we can affirm that gender is complicated. And also, that said, it's like, it's a balance between that and like sex is sexy, so like, yeah, get fucking charged up. And I don't know what does that for you. I know what does that for me.
Yeah.
And I think posture, like not just like clothes, but like how do we carry ourselves, how do we talk, and like how would we lean against a bar if we happen to still go to bars, which I do not, and like, so all that stuff matters. So I think what I'm trying to say is it's complicated, right?
Yeah.
It's a bit of both. And it is cool. People definitely, at least anybody acknowledges that we have sex now.
Yeah.
That isn't
true.
Pornography. Because that is also something that didn't used to happen. It was like because there was like a whole conversation about like women are turned on by like words, like it was like I'm from like an era of like Emily Dickinson, who by the way, great TV show, but like,
true.
Like women want to see like a picture of a mermaid or whatever. It's like women want to fuck.
I was gonna say, I feel like finally, I think before, for so long, sapphic sex was only about like making love, like this like gross, this like caressing, like love making, and now it's kind of like, oh, women fuck, right? Everyone fucks, right? People, well, I hope. Yeah. I mean, the people that want to.
It was either that, like something so too cute, or the other option was, and I don't have a word for this, where something that was depicted was like so for men that the people like wouldn't even be facing each other and their hands wouldn't even be going anywhere that made any sense. I call this skydiving, where you're like this, but everybody's having an orgasm simultaneously, and you're like, from what? Literally from what?
From what?
What's touching? Nothing.
Nothing. No.
There was a really good sex scene. I'm obsessed with The Last of Us right now, and there was a really good sex scene. These are very young people. I'm not actually allowed to watch, but I did watch. And they're like 21 and 23.
Yeah.
R.I.P. my dignity. But
no, but it's great representation.
It's great representation, and they have a really good sex scene because the choreography is really good around like what happens to your body.
Wait, is this in the new season?
Yeah, bro.
Oh my gosh, I haven't hit that episode then.
Catch up. I'm sorry to spoil it,
I'm
but there's
going to
good
now.
sex. Yeah.
Vanessa's like leaves the podcast.
Gotta go.
Yeah, I mean, because other than that, we've only ever had Bound, and if you haven't seen that film, that's a great.
Also, the one that Kristen Stewart was just in, Love Lies Bleeding.
Oh yeah,
they had some good sex scenes in that felt
they had
queer.
Really good sex scenes.
Very queer.
Can I tell you a goofy story?
Please.
I got invited to like you're like an older, like power lesbian or queer screening of that film. It's very small, and
I would love to be a fly on the wall of that room.
Truly hilarious. Very small. It's a group of people, whatever. Kristen came out and introduced the movie. It played. And I actually can't watch things that are scary or have gore in them in any way.
Oh my God, and it's gory.
And I did not understand what I was seeing.
Yeah.
I thought it was about like, you know, people
Power.
that have big muscles. And
Yeah.
I'm like, me too, I love that. But instead it was about like just
Horror.
I guess what I'm trying to say is you're trying to be cool. You're in a group of cool people and you're trying to be cool, but you also do have to close your eyes and are making very high pitched sounds. And your wife is there describing the film to you because you can't see it. She's like, there was somebody's head got bashed in. And you're like,
It is
thank you
violent.
so much. And it is humiliating. Like you just have to pretend everything's fine, but you're like shaking.
And you're with all these cool lesbians.
Exactly. You're like, I belong, man. I'm out here. I make moves, you know?
Next time, go with glasses. Just put them down.
Yeah, dude. Absolutely. Absolutely.
True.
What a goofball.
That is such a power move. Okay. You is U-Haul. Have you done it?
Obviously, 9 million times.
9 million times.
We're
That's it.
honest though.
Yeah.
We're honest.
Okay. Perfect. Next question is V is for Victoria's Secret. Victoria's Secret. Can we talk about your bra journey and how you've come to a place where you're more comfortable with dressing in general?
Oh my God, you're so cute. Good question. Yeah, I have like big boobs and what's up?
I pointed at
I'm listening. Keep going.
I have big boobs and haven't known what to do with, you know, nobody talk about like binders.
Yeah.
And even like athletic stretchy stuff. I can't remember what that's called.
Ace bandages.
Ace
which
bandages, which
bad
are not
for you.
good.
Yeah.
They're really, but like that was sort of the horrible stepping stone to like some safer
Binders.
products that we have now.
Yeah.
But like was unaware of that. And then if you just are like kind of a boy, but you have like giant boobs, then your shirts like come out to here.
It's like a shelf.
And yes, and you look like a completely like different size because what you're meant to do clothing wise is like wear something that does like a curvy thing. You're like supposed to dress like I don't know,
like tailored to your body.
yeah, exactly. You're supposed to like have like a bustier on. And so I just kind of always looked, I think, quite odd when that was an era that was in my life. And then what I would do after that was I wore like a push-up bra for a while because I felt like at least everything was like in place. I was like, we know where it goes, you know? But then I would wear a really tight shirt so that you could like see that I had, you know, like boobs, but like a different
So you could
size
just be like,
waist.
look, I'm
yeah.
fit.
Yeah, like I'm fit, but also like this is what I actually look like.
Yeah.
You know, and there'd be nothing wrong if something different was going on, but it was odd because it like clothes didn't make sense. And then, you know, God bless people like Billie Eilish who like took some of that silhouette.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, not just Billie, but like people, you know, obviously way before, like a Queen Latifah, you know, beforehand, but like, which would have been, she would have been more visible when I was younger. I could have had access to that, but I just wasn't ready yet. And anyway, now I'm kind of into what's going on with clothes where everything's like a box.
The shape.
And I can wear like a sports bra and it looks like there's nothing going on, which is chill. And I'm also aware that top surgery exists.
Yeah.
And we don't know. Who knows what will happen in the future?
Totally.
Whatever.
Also, like, I feel like lesbians are forgetting the art of just a breast reduction surgery. Although someone I follow, Jade Fox, who's an influencer and a content creator, podcast host, they just got just a breast reduction, and they are very like dressed pretty masculine. So I was like, that's sick. We need that representation too, because I'm like, it doesn't have. I think so many of us are forgetting that there are steps in between. It doesn't have to be
totally
all or nothing or whatever.
Yeah.
I just went on a trip to Morocco,
Yes.
as we were talking about, and one night I wore, and I'm flat chested with or without a bra on, but I wore a polo or like a shirt that was white, and white is really hard with shadows. So I took a picture in it, and I was like, why do I have a shelf even in my tight sports bra? And I was telling people I was with, I'm like, I think honestly there's a world where there are outfits I wear that I would want to wear a binder in, even as flat-chested as I am. So I'm like, I don't know. I'm like want to talk more about fashion in general because I think it's something that's plagued me for so long, like the hair thing too, where there also is this thing where you kind of get stuck in like dressing too young. Yeah. Like I don't know if you feel like you went through that too, but like I do want to feel like an adult person in the right environments. Like I want to dress and be respected, and I've had a hard time figuring out what that is. And also, I think the biggest thing that I'm learning is that it's about tailoring and not about necessarily getting your clothes tailored, but buying the clothes that are tailored that make your silhouette look the way you want, which is what you're just saying.
Oh my God. Well, I mean, I have so many thoughts about this, but I'll try to keep it concise. Yes, there are just people who I can see now that like have some silhouettes I feel curious about. My buddy Liv Houston, for instance, love the clothes they're wearing, like so chill. And also, wait, what was the thing you just said a second ago?
About tailoring?
Oh, yeah. Here's one thing I'll say. Tailoring is actually cheaper than you think it is. Not that everybody has disposable income, but like I used to get, when there was like an era of my life where I wore collared shirts. This is no longer part of my life. But I would go get the neck fixed because...
Too wide?
Yeah. And like the side, if your shirt fits in your neck, it's like a drastically different experience than if it doesn't, in terms of looking like you're wearing your dad's clothes. And so anyway, I'll say that I completely hear you. Dressy clothes are just incredibly gendered, and I think that's part of what you're talking about with the like being young thing. Yeah, because then we're meant to like enter the workforce or like go to fancy parties or blah blah blah, and like we're meant to then choose to wear like an A-line dress or whatever. I'm naming random things, but like that's not accessible to me. So like, what do I wear?
Yeah, what are we supposed to wear? Yeah, I know it's been such a struggle, but I mean, it's good for us right now because gender like neutral clothing is so in style, even for everyone, for men and women and cis people and fashion, high fashion. So it's kind of, hopefully that'll help all of us in the long run. Right. Although it will bounce back, which will be crazy. Totally. Because anytime anything gets like this, I'm like, eventually we're going to go back and it's going to be like hyper feminine again. And like those tiny little fucking ribbon dresses. You guys remember those?
I'm actually ready for that. I'm serious. I'm ready. My shoulders are looking good. I'm ready to be in that ribbon dress and rock it. One final thing that I'm just going to say on this, which is, and this is, look, I understand everybody's financial situation is different, but it's very worth saving up for a tailored suit that you can keep forever that's a neutral color that actually fits you. If you're somebody who's not sure what you're gonna wear to like say a wedding or like whatever, really, really worth it.
Yeah, and then you always have it in your back pocket.
Have it forever. Yeah. Get it in navy blue. Anyway.
Get it in navy blue.
I have a friend's wedding coming up, so I will message you. Great. I need to know what to wear.
I'm ready to talk about it.
And it's like fun colors.
Yeah, love it.
Vanessa, you're so cute. Okay. W is wisdom. What's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
What? Okay.
Best and worst. Superlatives are so hard.
Well, no, I actually do have an answer to this. There is this is from Alcoholics Anonymous, and it is something that when I first heard it, it like changed my whole life. And it's, no matter how far down the scales we've gone, we could see how our experiences can benefit others. And for me, what that means is, you know, when things have happened in my life, what is the application for somebody else's experience? And what I have found is that there's always an application. I didn't know that because I thought I was like, you know, sick and suffering through things, or like an outsider for no reason, all this stuff. And it's just not true. Like all that is the best stuff in my life and has made me an empathic and like reasonable and hopefully fun to be around person.
So true.
And so like, whatever you're going through, I'm sorry. And also like, can't wait to see how you use it.
Yeah. So true. So true. Like, have you ever gotten advice from someone who's clearly never been through something?
Yes.
It's horrible. And you're like,
this is what I was talking about stand-up comedy earlier. Where it's like, sometimes there's a person you go, wow, like you do have good opinions about like bagels and stuff, but like what has ever happened to you? You know, like has anything happened to you? Why are you talking about this? How are you still interested in yourself? Anyway,
No,
that's just an aside.
No, literally so true. Okay, X is example. It's a little play on that. You've been such a role model for our community. What's your best advice for younger queer people?
Oh yeah.
It could be what you just said as well, like to not fear the otherness that you're feeling. I won't tell you what to say. What's your best advice?
You're the best.
I mean, you've given great advice. So I'm like,
I think for me, it's like, you know, there are so many different people that I feel affinity toward. I weirdly have a huge, strong community of like both straight women and straight cis dudes that are my friends, like outside of our community, and I love that, and that's so important to me. And then also, you know, queerness is so important to me, and I think the reason I'm mentioning all that is because, and this is so trite, but it's like we have a superpower. You know, some people are just in one category or can only relate to one type of person, and is related to what I just said, but it's like, what a bummer for them, you know what I mean? And I think if you happen to be able to move through a couple different groups, then you can understand other people who are able to move through or have to move through even more groups. And I just think like that is the coolest thing about being us. It's not like that outsider positioning, especially if you're a white person in America, is so helpful because we're all part of a continuum. And I'm so glad that I can care about things like abortion access so strongly, even though I don't know that I'll ever need access to that. Never say never. I don't know that I will. But I care about it because, you know, of autonomy over bodies. And so anyway, I just think like, we're the coolest because we can, you know, with the right attitude, like walk into any room and not be the boss of that room, but we can look for ways to connect with other people, and like straight people don't always get that opportunity.
So true. And you're so right too about like the whiteness of it all, because we also have access to tables and ears and rooms that like not everyone gets. So going into them with that like mentality, it makes you have like a power, or like, I don't know, I think kind of like a duty to be doing and caring about things, which is like, I don't know.
Yeah, of course. I mean, not of course.
Sure. But yes.
Understood.
Yeah. Okay, why is yearning? What's something you're yearning for right now?
Wow.
Green grass.
I was just gonna say,
dude, it's so wild. I like have so much peace right now. I am hungry.
Oh my God, same.
So
apparently.
I'm yearning for like some Thai food.
So fair.
Everything else in my life is perfect. No, this is not true, but like a green curry would really help. You know what I mean?
I yearn to have a life that is as full as yours.
It's just not true, but it's just like, stick around, man. You know, you get comfortable with yourself.
that was positivity and being grateful.
Yeah.
That was good.
Okay, Z, last one, is zeitgeist. Is there any word that you think we lost in the lesbian or queer world that you want to bring back? There's something, Vanessa, from Tumblr that I was thinking about the other day, that someone was like, use that in a sentence. And I was like, we don't all know this word. What is,
G-poi?
G-poi is a good one. Great. What is it? Greatest pairing?
No, general picture of yourself, or like,
Oh, yeah.
Holy shit, I have no idea what you're talking about.
And then there was like ship, but now ship is in everyone's. But
Yeah.
OTP. These aren't
One
necessarily
shipper.
queer. These are Tumblr things.
This is my perspective. It's I don't think it applies to what you're asking at all. But one thing that is true is like, we have some really fucking cool old art that I feel like we, especially in like a TikTok era. Look, thank you for evolving.
Yeah.
appreciate you.
Yeah.
And also, like, if you're curious about shit we've already done, we have some really cool stuff. And I think that is something I'm like always trying to talk about is like the stuff we've already made, because especially if you're somebody who's young and you're like, I always feel like I'm watching people, like, I only know this now and people that are older than me must have laughed at me, but it's like, we literally reinvent the same experiences and like tell the same jokes again and again. And like, can you believe this? It's like, literally, yes, in 1800, we also felt this way. And so I really believe in like source material. There's like one of the first like widestream publication that involved lesbian characters called The Well of Loneliness. It was also just recently featured in The Last of Us. I think Ellie was reading this. I have a first edition copy that somebody gave me for a present one time. It is like honestly kind of a weird book, but it's us, you know, it's ours. And Carol, which is such a good Christmas watch, also the source material, The Price of Salt, is like incredible, and I own it in multiple different versions, like books and audiobooks and all sorts of stuff. And I just think and I could give you like a zillion examples, but that's, I guess, what I would say about the zeitgeist is like, I love what people are doing. I feel tapped into what's happening now, and I love that. And I also hope that like maybe give it a shot to like, do you know what the Indigo Girls really sang? Like, give it a listen. It's gonna blow your fucking mind.
You guys listen to the Indigo Girls.
It's gonna blow your mind.
I feel like so many people don't even know who the Indigo Girls are. That's the craziest
You're
part.
ruining your own life.
I know. No, we do need to do a better job of tapping into queer history.
Hear ye, hear ye.
Okay, we do a thing where we do the gay agenda, which is just that we pitch something we think we should add to the gay agenda. Mine is that we should be able to dress in the little boy section forever.
Perfect.
But we also should try our best to learn how to dress as adults. So both and. So that my Pinterest board can evolve and I can know what to wear.
I love it.
Vanessa, what's your agenda?
Mine was to do with the whole rainbow washing thing during Pride, where people get upset at companies just throwing money down for this. I would love if anyone who is queer is able to take something from the company. Like, for example, if it's Starbucks doing a float, we're allowed to go in once a month, like once in the month, for a free coffee or something free.
Great.
Yeah.
You know, something like that.
If they're going to rainbow wash, we get something
I couldn't
for
love that
free.
more. Mine would be keep your old stuff, because it's going to come back around and be hilarious. If it's like queer item of clothing, I don't know if I can. These are my boots. They're like
Hell yeah.
steel-toed Docs. These are from high school. My high school boots that I wore to high school. Keep your shit. If it's gay enough,
Yeah, keep it forever.
keep it forever.
Okay, so good. Okay, this is the last thing. It's strap on or strap off. I'm just gonna tell you something, and you can say yes or no, or on or off. It's just if you like it or if you don't. Okay, strap on or strap off. Talking about lesbian bed death.
Off.
Okay. Working with your partner.
Off.
Reclaiming the word dyke in mainstream media.
Middle. Middle, because who's saying it?
True.
That's the thing. If you say it, then somebody else quotes you. Fuck them.
True. Okay, yeah, I agree. Reading smut in public.
Off if it's lesbian, because don't do that on a train. Not for you, for him.
Yeah.
He doesn't deserve it.
Okay. A mere queer poly closed quad. What? Oh,
Personally off, but I have so much respect for all my friends and compatriots.
There we
Just
go.
a little.
nuns becoming
tired.
pope.
Nuns becoming pope, strong on.
Yeah. Not changing straps between relationships.
How much money do you have?
True.
That's fair.
They're
That's-
expensive.
So fair.
Give it a good wash. Soak.
Okay. When people say, "Oh, so you can dish it out, but you can't take it."
I don't know, like on in like a sex way.
There you go. Okay. The endings of lesbian period dramas.
Strong off. You don't need to watch them.
Just watch the beginning.
Head out.
Okay. The ending of the L word.
Oh, honestly, only because like, look, something doesn't have to completely make sense for it to be exactly what should have happened in terms of bringing us together to scream about something.
Yeah.
Always good to yell
Yeah.
with your fellow queers.
It got us together.
Everybody's
brought
bothered.
us together.
We love to be bothered.
Who's your favorite character?
Come on, are you kidding?
No, who? I don't know.
Shane.
Mine's
But then you grow up.
Carmen.
Carmen.
Yours is better. I agree with you, actually. I changed my answer.
No,
I actually
yours is good.
changed my answer.
Okay,
It's that one.
last one.
Yes.
Asymmetrical hairstyles on straight people.
Oh no! Oh shoot! When I had that haircut, so many boys would get that haircut, like straight boys, and I would just say to them, "Okay, you get it. You know what I mean? Congratulations, you're doing it." I mean, it's definitely an off, but I really feel like
Yeah, but
give it a shot, kid.
okay, that's the end. I'm just gonna end it with the pledge that we have, and I'm gonna read it to you.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you this pin,
Hell
and
yeah.
when you have it, it means that you pledge allegiance to queerness in all of its forms. You're out, you're proud, and you vow to honor every LGBTQ plus identity. And from A to Z, you're Alphabet Club official, where every letter is welcome.
Oh my God!
That's
Of
for
course,
you.
that's true.
Yes.
Oh.
I mean, it feels wrong for me to do it for you. Like, you should initiate me.
Strong
You are-
disagree. Strong disagree, but I want to give you a hug. Oh, yeah. You're so sweet and such good questions.
Yay. Okay. And you have to go.
I gotta go. Bye bye.
Yeah. But okay, wait. Cameron's special is on Dropout, and I
Yeah.
will have it in the link below and all of your other socials, and follow them on everything. You're
Okay.
amazing.
You're amazing. I'm ready to just be regular friends.
Yeah, let's
this
be
is one of
friends.
those times where the
don't-
podcast can transition. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
This episode was sponsored by ZocDoc. Next time, before you go into a "is this normal" spiral and you're Googling and TikTok searching whatever ailment that you have, save yourself the trouble and the anxiety and just go to ZocDoc. ZocDoc makes it easy to find the right doctor for you. It's a free app and website where you can search and compare high-quality in-network doctors and click to instantly book an appointment. Did you hear the part where I said that it's free? Because it is. It's free. It's a free app and website. Who doesn't love that? I've used ZocDoc and it has saved me hours from spiraling online searching for things that I'll never find the answer to because I'm not a doctor and neither is the internet. But ZocDoc has real doctors that can help you. So stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/Shannon to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/Shannon. And one more time, that's ZocDoc.com/Shannon.